What's up, guys? Jacob from Team Boardwipe, and who are we with?
My name's Brian Kalina. I just got top 8 at the UDS with 55 card Goukis. I won the regional with 51. I won a VIP qualifier with 56, and then we finally settled on 55 for this tournament. It's a lot of cards, but the ratios work. It's just the way it is. We'll get right into it. Gouki monsters, we got 2 Octo, 2 Headbat, 2 Twist Cobra, 3 Suprex, and then 1 Scorpio, 1 Bear Hug. I was playing 2 of this for a while because it works with the Engages and the Hornet drones, but we just don't need a second one, and the ratio works fine today. Multiple Goukis, all these Goukis help mid-game, help the mid-game and the late game for this deck, which is inherently not great. And playing 55 cards, I'm not gonna see a handful of Goukis where if my Suprex gets Veilered, I lose very often. So this ratio worked for me. It's been working for me for the past 3 weeks. So something's been going right. And we were playing the dark version, so we're playing 3 Armageddon Knight, 3 Vion, and then 3 Mali. Some people aren't as convinced about this card just because you don't want to play too many normal summons, but we also have 55 cards, keep in mind. So it's less likely to brick with too many normal summons. And then we're playing the 6-to-3 ratio, which I think is really good. Because if you play the same ratio, if you just play Armageddons without the Vions, then you're going to draw Armageddon Knight as often as you can draw Mali. And we didn't want that. So we wanted 6 ways to send Mali instead of 3. So we played those 9. And then for this tournament, this is a new addition. We played 2 Butter Spy. I like it because with Draco becoming more prevalent in Gozen match, it's another dark. And Summon Sorceress is dark, so if they flip a Gozen match on you, especially if they do it early, you can just link line with dark plays, and you can still do a lot of things. Unicorn is dark, so you can make a lot of plays and then out the Gozen fairly easily before you continue. And it's a good way to it's another extender. Yeah. 1 Ibli, 1 Necrogardna. Every time I had a Necrogardna, everybody was like, why are you playing Necrogardna? And then they had an Ibli that they tried to crash, and they couldn't, and they lost. That's why we're playing Necrogardna. It's really good, and it's a warrior. So if you normal summon it with an extender, you have a soul. And you probably have combo if you have a Gouki in your hand, so that's why we play that. And then 1 Silent Boots. It's really good to summon off of Summon Sorceress if you have a Gouki in your hand with the Armageddon Knight, because then you can search the Phantom Knight's trap, and you can extend your plays. And if you draw it, there are so many different ways to draw a combo, so you can just discard it off of one of the Nightmares and then be able to search the trap and keep extending. So for those 3. And then we played 12 hand traps. Ash, Ogre, Droll, and Veiler. I didn't want to play Cherries for this tournament because I didn't think Gouki was going to be super prevalent, and that was fine. I didn't lose to a single Gouki player. My 2 losses were to Trickstars. Well, my first loss in Swiss was to Strike Warning Judgment Candina field spell, game 3 when I went second. There wasn't a hand in the world I could have drawn out that probably. And then I lost in top 8 because I drew Living Fossil, Ibli, Mali, Ash, and Butter Spy. And the best play I could make was Goblin Phoenix. And he had double engage with Trickstar plays. There was just nothing I could have done in that top 8 match. I probably shouldn't have even won game 2, honestly. I think I got a little bit lucky, but then I just couldn't capitalize game 3, so I lost in top 8, unfortunately. But the 12 hand traps were really good. With 55 cards, when we were at 50, we just kept figuring out more cards that we wanted to play, and when we added cards, we added hand traps to try and match the ratios, which is how we ended up at 55. And that's all the monsters.
And why Veiler instead of Impermanence?
Veiler instead of Impermanence. You can activate Veiler if you have cards on the field. So this is a big thing that I started doing recently, actually. You can use Summon Sorceress to play around Impermanence and Gamma by giving them a monster. So what you do is you just give them a monster from your hand, so then they can't Impermanence or Gamma anything, as long as you chain link dodge up until that point. A lot of people will try and save the Gamma for the firewall, which has to be exposed, but by that time you have a monster on board. And a lot of people will save Impermanence for the firewall, so they just can't do that at all. But with Veiler, you can that plays around that. so you can Veiler whatever you want without worrying about somebody giving you like a card off of Summon Sorceress.
Also, it's important because if you play Impermanence, it's a trap and it conflicts with a card later in the deck.
Yeah, we play 3 of those, so we can't play Impermanence, and it sucks. Like I side too evenly into Impermanence, which means I have to like take this plus the Silent Boots out because I don't want to play conflicting cards. But for the main deck, we really wanted these, so I kept them. But yeah, that's why, like multiple reasons why Veiler is just better for this deck, I think. And then 3 engage, 3 Hornet Drones, because it's just really good with, if you draw Mally, you can engage plus Mally as the combo, because you can tribute off the Kagari, and then the Hornet Drones token is a warrior, and then the Mally is a warrior, and you just go. So drawing 1 Mally like almost never hurts unless you don't have anything else to combo with.
Also, you can just like discard the Mally off something and combo.
2 rematch. Some people play 1, but playing 2 in our 55 card deck means that if you draw it right away, you can play around Droll so much more easily. Like Mally already helps with that like insanely, but playing 2 rematch gives you the opportunity to draw 1 and hardly ever draw 2, because drawing 2 of 2 in a 55 card deck just is wild. Which means you can be more aggressive with your searches early, and then if they draw you, you can still use them. So, and then it helps mid and late game to have a second one. Also, if you play correctly and somebody's playing Ghost Spell, you can always search 2. Like, there are multiple times where I just had an extra search I could throw away, and I just searched 2 rematches, so they couldn't Ghost Spell 1. And I don't know if it was ever like relevant or if people are playing Ghost Spell, but like, rather not lose to it just in case. Soul Charge, Rhoda, 1-for-1, Foolish, Reborn for the 1-ofs. I don't think any of these need explanations. And then the 2 equips, Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade, and Living Fossil. I picked Living Fossil because it's an easy way to make bad hands playable. Like in game 3 of my top 8 round, I normal summoned Ibly, linked into Mermaid, Living Fossiled the Ibly, and then I made a Goblin, and then I continued to go off, and I ended up making Goblin Phoenix that he wouldn't have been able to out if he not had another monster to clear his board to activate the 2 engages, but he had Terraforming for turn and drew another monster because he was playing Trickstar, and I just lost. But like, it makes like unplayable hands slightly more playable, so if you draw it. So I think it's one of the better equip options. And then the 3 traps, as I talked about earlier, which is why we don't play Impermanence in the main deck. So yeah, 55 cards. Ratios are amazing. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Extra deck, 2 Assaults, 1 Summon Sorceress. The second Assault, mid-late game. Like, and the number of times my Assault got like Impermanence or Veilered on its first effect is insane. Like, I don't know why people still do that, but it just gives you plays to make a second Assault that same turn and then just U them and win the game. And even if they play it correctly, having a second Assault can be really relevant mid and late game. And I wanted to be able to win mid and late game, so I played 2. And then the Summon Sorceress, just because it helps you link climb with Mally. It's a really good way to get to Mally from your deck, and it helps you play through hand traps. Like, there are very few hands that you draw the combo that aren't doable through Ash. So Summon Sorceress was really important. Link Karibo, Kagari, since I play the Sky Striker cards, and Underclock Taker. You can OTK really easily with Underclock Taker. If you combo with like Tri-Gate Firewall, Underclock Taker, like over a monster is so much damage, and it's really easy to get that on board, plus like a Suprex or something. So it's part of our combo that we do, and it also helps OTK.
Also, if you get cherries for like your soul, you can use those 2 to make a Summon Sorceress.
Yeah, I made Summon Sorceress with these 2 multiple times. Really good. And for the Nightmares, 1 Mermaid, 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, 2 Goblin, and then Unicorn. All these are important. All have utility in and outside of the combo. And then Tri-Gate, obviously, Firewall. This card is so good. It needs to just go. And then we play Gumblar because Armageddon Knight plus a Gouki in hand, or Armageddon Knight plus any extender, or 2 Goukis if one of them is a Super X, they're all 2-card combos that you plus Gumblar, Rip 4, with giving them an Ibly with a Necrogardener engrave. Like, I'm not convinced that there's anything in the world that can beat that. So, like, I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, Gumblar is not worth it because Ewing is enough. It's not, like, always enough because, like, Sphere Mode is a card. So if you're not Gumblaring cards out of their hand, they're going to Sphere Mode you and they're going to win.
Also,
so,
it's, like, important. You can Gumblar a lot when you're not even Ewing. And
yeah, there are many times where I just summoned a Gumblar and then, like, activated the trap card on their turn, discarded 2, and they discarded their whole hand, and then, like, didn't have any cards to play, so I just won because I have a 3,000 beater and they have nothing. So, yeah, I felt it was really, really important to play this card, just because, I mean, you can't just, like, lose to Sphere Mode, I don't think. Because if they have 2 cards and they Sphere Mode you, they have 1 card, what are they going to do? With an Ibly that they can't get rid of, like, nothing. So, that was the extra deck. Side deck. Mained 12 hand traps, then we played 5 more in the side. We did 3 cherries, 2 impermanence. I really wasn't sure how many Gouki were going to be here, so I definitely wanted cherries in the side just because the deck is so strong. And then impermanence is just a really good hand trap. When you know you're going second, you can side out the Phantom Knight cards because they're not as necessary when you have that 6th card to draw your combo. So those are the 5 extra hand traps. So sometimes I was playing this deck with like 17 hand traps. And then 1 afterburners because we wanted to be able to out problem cards since we're playing Engage. I never actually had to use this, but like it's, I think, necessary because there are games you'll lose if you don't have an out to like a Floodgate monster or something. And then 3 Called, 3 Twister. Called has really good utility going first and second. I sided this in against first and second against Trickstars and Sky Strikers, just because going second against Trickstar, it hits the Droll. If they try and like, it helps you play around like Reincarnation Droll. So if they have 1 Reincarnation and Droll, you can search and then they Reincarnation Chain Droll, you call by it, and then you still have playable cards. So it's really good going second against Trickstars, and then against Sky Striker, you can hit the Ray. And then going first, it hits the hand traps to make sure your combo goes off. And then triple twin. I actually sided this in going first against Pure Sky Striker 2 just because I felt like it was better than having hand traps. Like especially, well, like Ogre and Veiler against Trickstars are really bad too, so I didn't like having those in when I was going first. So I played Twin instead. And then against Sky Striker, Twin is just really good instead of Droll, because Droll isn't like that strong. Like it hits some of their hands, but also not all of them. So I sided these in going first and second a lot of matches. I actually had to set a Living Fossil, Twin Twister, discard a Mally to destroy the Living Fossil to actually make a play once. That was exciting. And then it gave me combo, but it was rough. And then 2 evenly match. It's good against Sky Striker, good against Draco. Another reason we had to side out these, unfortunately, but you know, it was good. I only drew it once and I activated, or I went to battle phase and got Mind Crush. But with the number of Draco cards that people were playing, or Draco decks that I figured I was going to see, which I didn't see any, by the way. I didn't play a single Draco deck.
At least you weren't like DeBlessin who had to play 6 in Swiss.
Yeah. One of my friends played 6 Draco decks.
Hey, at least you're evenly matched and didn't get wiretapped.
Yeah. Oh man. And then the 15th side card, I won 3 matches with it when time was approaching or already called in the main phase. And only one person like hella raged. And we've already made up our differences and fine, because then he realized that even if he got a monster to attack me in the battle phase, I had a Necrogardener. I sided Cowboy. And I feel like it's kind of scummy to Cowboy somebody for game and time when you comboed for like 6 minutes or 8 minutes. But also at the same time, like, it's a card that's legal. I'm not slow playing my combo. I'm making legal moves. And like, given the choice to draw or win, I'm gonna choose to win. And I did 3 times, and it was just really relevant. So it definitely helped me get there this weekend.
Any shoutouts or anything?
Shout out to Jake Kinsey, because this deck is his baby. He built it right after Nats, more or less. We've been tweaking it together ever since, but like the bones of the deck are 100% him. So I don't think I'd be here with a regional win, 2-round bye at Columbus, and this UDS top without his expertise. Shout out to Team Board Wipe. Shout out to Rising Star for sponsoring us. And last but not least, shout out to Izzy, my cat. She's my biggest fan. Brings me all the luck. And I wouldn't be here without her today. So if you want to see her, check out my other deck profiles. I think that's it. We'll do it.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks, YouTube.